Late-night host Jimmy Kimmel attacked the Cassidy-Graham healthcare plan on September 19, and mocked Senator Bill Cassidy, R-Law, for failing his own standard, the Kimmel test. Ginny stars / The Washington Post, "I'm sorry he doesn't understand. Under Graham-Cassidy Heller Johnson, more people will have coverage." Senator Bill Cassidy, R-Law, interviewed on CNN's New Day, September 20, 2017. Late-night host Jimmy Kimmel attacked Cassidy over the healthcare repeal plan crafted by Cassidy and Senators Lindsey Graham, RSC, Dean Heller, Republican Nevada, and Ron Johnson, Republican Wisconsin, as a last-ditch effort to replace the Affordable Care Act. Kimmel asserted, among other things, that the proposed law will kick about 30 million Americans off insurance. Firing back, Cassidy flatly stated that more people will have coverage. "There are more people who will be covered through this bill than under the status quo. As always with healthcare policy, this is complicated stuff. But let's dig through the code words and see whether Cassidy's claim holds up to scrutiny." The facts: starting in 2020, the Graham-Cassidy bill would reallocate funding now devoted to the Affordable Care Act exchanges and the law's expansion of Medicaid and give it to states in the form of block grants. States in theory would have great flexibility to create their own health care systems, though only 2 years to do it. The block grants would grow according to an index slower than general inflation, not according to how many people are covered or what diseases they have, so the total pot would grow more slowly than under current law. All funding would be terminated by 2027, unless Congress acted at the time to continue it. One of the big problems faced by previous GOP repeal plans was scorekeeping by the Congressional Budget Office, which assessed how many people were projected to have health insurance coverage under the proposal compared to current law. Invariably, tens of millions fewer people were projected to have health insurance. Presumably, this is where Kimmel gets his 30 million figure, from previous CBO scores of eliminating the ACA without a real replacement. But he repeated kicked-off language, often used by Democrats, that the fact-checker has previously found to be misleading. The CBO has a lot of faith in the power of the individual mandate, so it negatively scored proposals that eliminated the mandate. Some of the people who would be uninsured would choose not to have insurance, because they had decided to obtain coverage only to avoid a penalty. So they are not being kicked off but leaving of their own accord. Still, CBO has generally estimated that just 1 year after the individual and employer mandates are repealed, 15 to 18 million fewer Americans would have health insurance. So that would be a steep hole that Graham-Cassidy would have to climb out of as its provisions were implemented. The Graham-Cassidy bill has not been scored by the CBO, which says it is unlikely to produce a comprehensive report before Sept. 30. When Senate rules mean Republicans can no longer pass a bill with just a simple majority. So how does Cassidy know that under his bill, more people will have coverage even though federal health care funding will be reduced significantly in many states under current law? Spokesman Ty Bofferding said the United States spends more than twice as much per person than countries in Western Europe, all of which have universal healthcare systems, so it was reasonable to believe better outcomes were possible with fewer dollars. "We expect when states are free of structural regulation the American people will see innovative ideas," he said. No CBO coverage score is available for the bill yet, however this legislation has far more enrollment incentives than previous repeal and replace attempts, so we expect improved coverage. Given the spending reductions in the bill, many healthcare experts found this logic to be highly dubious. Yet no credible analyst has been willing to venture an estimate on coverage because no one knows how states react. For instance, the respected healthcare consultant Havalier concluded that California would face a 13% shortfall, $78 billion between 2020 and 2026, under Graham-Cassidy compared to current law. But in theory, the state could decide to create a single-payer system that could cover everyone, so that would certainly increase coverage. In fact, the Trade Group for Insurance Companies, America's Health Insurance Plans, opposes the bill in part because it could build a bridge to single-payer systems. The law also has incentives for states to focus on the U.S. population with income at 50 to 138% of the federal poverty line, $24,600 for a family of 4, as block grant funding would be allocated according to the level of insurance coverage in that income range. States might then alter essential benefit rules to offer skimpy, low premium plans for everyone else in the individual IN.